Welcome back. We will talk about the science of all collective sciences, the best science ever. What is called the science of self-control. You see a lot of wonders of science around you every day, but you will never find a wonderful science better than this. Even all the sciences, all the worldly sciences come together collectively does not equate the science of self-control. Why? We'll go through this, and subscribe if you wish to learn. If not, please do not subscribe. We do not want to waste your time because I am putting way more extra effort than you can think of to bring it to you, to bring this knowledge to you. So let's move on and see that in this book, in the next chapter of this book, The Mastery of Destiny, why and how this science is the best of all. Why it is called that this will help, or this can help shape the nations, or it can help someone control nations if you know the art of mastery of self-control. Let's dive into it. Writer says, a scientist who controls the external factors, mean the physical world, they research on the physical world obviously. Even if they call some part of it as a metaphysical world, still it is the external world to us, means out of the human body. We call them natural scientists. But what we call a person who researches and masters the art of self-control and learns this knowledge, that is called the divine scientist. That scientist is the master of all the knowledges, because he knows if you can control and take power of yourself, outer world is nothing for you. For example, he says a scientist who works on all of the arts, all of the work, or even in one field, he's working hard on his labor. He's doing a hard labor for years and years, and then he comes out with one research paper. Most of the people know what I'm talking about, because scientists have to go through research of years and years, crazy work. And then they come out with one research work where everyone starts praising them. And that is the result of hard labor. You don't even, a normal person cannot even fathom that kind of a hard work that they have to go through. But what about a person who understands self-control, a peaceful nature, who gives everyone about his peaceful nature? Do you think that comes out easy? That is the result of huge labor. That comes as a result of huge labor, but the cost is no one is gonna ever appreciate that labor. That's the beauty of this hard work. You will never be appreciated. A worldly scientist will always be appreciated and given a rank among the highest of scientists, whatever the achievement he has done. But when you master the art of self-control and you achieve the level of peaceful nature, that is done literally by hard work, and no one will be appraising that hard work for you ever. But that is the most highest level of scientific world. Achieve self-control, the writer has given 5 steps, 5 major steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. I have to read them through the book because I don't want to misinterpret them. The first step is observation. What you will be doing is you will be observing facts of nature. You have to observe the nature. Part 2, experiment. You will have to do experiments with these facts. Whenever you do observations, whatever observations you are collecting, you have to work on them. You have to do some experiments with them because you are not a scientist by birth. So you have to start working on them with experiments. So, and then classification. You have to classify these facts. But how do you classify them? What he says, you have to classify them in accordance with the laws of nature, with the principles of nature that you will learn when you are doing the observation and experimenting. So the fourth part is deduction, mean getting out the results after doing experiment. So he reveals hidden laws of things. When you are doing deduction, mean you are deducting the results. You are getting out the results of those experiments that you have done after observing, and then you done the classification. After everything, obviously you will be getting some results. You will be deducing something, some facts. In the last part, that is the most favorite of mine, that what I believe in and I'm doing as well, is knowledge. End of knowledge is to serve. When he acquires this level of self-control, means that is attained by a certain level of knowledge, he has to share it. Otherwise, it is of no use. He has done all the hard work for nothing. What you have to do is when you attain a certain level, you have to start sharing that knowledge, sharing that world with your peers, with your students, with your peers, with your fellows, with the world around you. You have to give that radiance out of you. And that's the highest level. That's what we should all be working on. He further says that you cannot expect anyone to say that you have achieved a certain level in self-control knowledge or being a divine scientist without the hard work, without the knowledge, without the research. You cannot attain that level. That's not possible. If someone says something like that, that is out of this world. That is not human then. So, we are superhumans, as I always say. To be superhuman, still we have to work on ourselves. That also I say. So to do that, to achieve that level, he has given 5 steps. First step is introspection. Means we have to go and see our inside. We have to control our instincts. Then the second step he says is self-analysis. Now we have to take control of our good and bad feelings, instincts. We have to separate them. We have to classify them. If we don't classify them, we cannot stop one from the other. The third part he's saying is adjustment. Practical student of divine understand his mind and heart by light of self-examination. You will have to justify the right and wrong with the help of self-examination. In the previous lecture, as I said to you, you have to be critically analyzing yourself. If you're not able to critically analyze yourself, what else are you going to do? How are you going to achieve the next level in your life? If you cannot criticize yourself and see the reality and then work on the next part. For that, you have to work and analyze yourself with the right positive light in you. Then the next part he's saying is righteousness. Law of justice and righteousness is universal. And he realizes that, means the human who is practicing all these facts will realize that, what he realized? He no longer acts himself and no more is a slave, but master of nature and circumstances. After realization of everything, he becomes a master of all the circumstances and of himself. That's the beauty. But the last part, let's discuss the last 5th part. What he says is pure knowledge. He identifies divine law and acquires divine knowledge. He masters self-control and removes confusion from inner thoughts. Right now, all of us are in ambiguity, especially the era of the world right now we're living in, full of confusion. You know what I'm talking about. Everyone is full of confusion here. I think some of you already got the idea. I don't want to be in the contradictory situation right now, but as we're talking about the knowledge here, but in our inner self also, we are in confusion always. Let's take it further. You have to be very clear in your thoughts. For that clarification, you have to go through the previous 4 steps that we have discussed. So when you go through all these 5 steps, then you become pure and you can classify everything, every deed, every aspect, every angle and every light of your inner self. In the last part, what he wants to say is aim of evolution would be frustrated. That's a very beautiful line. I want to read it word by word. Aim of evolution would be frustrated if we keep this pure knowledge to ourselves. Again, the same thing. We cannot keep this knowledge to ourselves. We have to share. Otherwise, the world is going to be deteriorated. For example, if there is one person who has got all the knowledge and he does not share it to the world, what's the benefit? He's going to be at the same level because he's not going to be perceived by others for that level. Secondly, the world is never going to be growing. There is no part of evolution in the world. So the knowledge has to be shared. Last part. So the knowledge is implemented on society for its growth. You see, the writer is more worried about the society. That is why in this chapter, in the last part, he's saying about the growth of society. He's not worried about your growth or my growth only. He's worried about individual growth so we can help the society. That means to see the outer side, to give it to the outer world. That's the bigger thing. That's being a bigger being. So we have to all focus, and being a bigger being, we have to give. We have to share. Means first we have to attain with the hard work, hard labor, with all the 5 steps he has given us. Then we have to, whatever knowledge we gain, then we give it. We share the light. We destroy the darkness in the society and give it a growth. Thank you very much. Hopefully it gave you a pure light and insight of the topic, that how can we master ourselves and give the light to this beautiful world. Thank you very much again.